September is World Alzheimer's Month, a time to raise awareness about dementia and the many challenges it brings, not just for those who were diagnosed, but for their caregivers. And our next guest knows those challenges all too well, and he's sharing his personal story of caring for his mother alone while navigating her dementia decline and their difficult relationship. So much there. And Dallas author, artist, and journalist Josh Hickman is here to take us into those pages of his new and powerful book, Forgetting. Good morning to you.
Hi, morning. Thanks.
Morning. Glad to have you. Okay, so if you could take us back to the beginning, how did you come to find yourself as your mother's sole caregiver by yourself alone?
Yeah, that was quite a story. Unexpected life circumstances happened. I had been living in LA for 14 years, and then things started to change, and my father passed away, and I had a relationship breakup, and I lost my job, and I knew my mother wasn't doing very well here, and I ended up moving back, and I became ill, and then COVID happened, and then I got dumped by my girlfriend here, and I wound up with my mother, and it was then that I realized how badly she was really doing, and that there was something more wrong with her than just her, being older, and things got kind of serious kind of fast. So.
You know what? You're not alone, because when it rains, it pours.
Yeah.
I think everybody can relate to that. But I also think when you're in certain situations and you keep getting bumped back like that, it's like, okay, what am I supposed to be focusing on? And you did come to that. Now, the book is very candid. It's almost raw in honesty.
Yeah.
And so what made you decide to share such a personal and difficult story with the world?
Yeah, I even thought about not publishing it when I wrote it, but it was therapeutic. But, at my age, I kind of thought, what have I got to lose?
Why not?
If I don't do it now, when am I going to do it?
Yes, indeed.
And if it's going to help anybody, and if it's, going to be truthful, I better be honest and just not leave much out and tell the story so that people can understand and identify those who are going through it with how this can go.
And that you were very honest. You even detailed your relationship with your mother and how it was already strained and troubled before she had received her diagnosis.
Yeah.
Tell us, what was life like as a kid? I'm sure that's you right there.
Yep.
What was it like with your mother, your brother, your father? What was family life like?
Yeah, as I say in the book, she was just a really difficult person. She always had been, just hard to please. She was really antisocial. She didn't have many friends. She was kind of manipulative and just a tough person to be around and to deal with. And as she aged, that didn't really get any better. And because of her life and the way she lived it, when she was older, she was very alone. Once my father passed away, she had no friends, no family. And so it kind of just came down to me, and I was it. And I had to make that decision to either go through with this caregiving or walk away, and I ended up going through with it. So.
You ended up sticking by your mom's
Yeah.
side. Can I ask, how did the history with your mom, the relationship you guys had growing up, the strainedness of it, how did that shape your relationship as far as being her caregiver?
Yeah, it made it more difficult, that's for sure. But, there was a lot of deep breaths and little breaks and having to constantly reframe and think, try to put past things in the past and try to leave them there and try to realize that the situation we're in right now is different. She's not completely in control of her faculties and her brain and how she's thinking and what she's saying. And you had to constantly, try to get perspective on that.
What emotional toll does that take, right? Because you're constantly thinking about, okay, let's let it go, let's find peace, let's move on to the next thing. That can take on that's a huge weight.
Yeah, it is a huge weight, and it was a real struggle. And the isolation of it, because it's just the two of you.
Right.
We never really had any help at all. And like I say, there was no other family or friends involved. So 24/7, being alone for over 3 years is very tough. There's no two ways about it.
You talked about it being just the two of you, right? And she was going through dementia. I mean, you said it was very isolating. And so when she did pass away, how did you deal with that isolation then after? Because now it's just you.
Yeah, it was, mercifully a miraculous thing, and a happy part of the book is that in the last 6 months or so, her personality completely did a 180 and
Really?
turned around, and she became this completely different person who was very childlike and very nice and sweet, just this sweet little old lady. And so having that that perspective, and looking back now after she passed away, it was a lot of consolation to be able to look back at almost two different people. You had
Wow.
the mother of my childhood, and then you had this very sweet old lady who didn't ask for much, at the end, and that really helped and
Yeah.
put perspective on things, changed everything, really.
Well, despite your relationship and like you said, the things that you went through as a child, I'm so glad that her passing in the end, right? You had a positive experience before it was all done all together.
Yeah.
Tell me, where can people find the book or anything as far as that, or more information or advice even?
Yeah, the book comes out officially October 1st. You can find it on Amazon. It's in paperback and in Kindle. And I am going to have a book signing at Highland Park Library in Highland Park in Dallas on October 25th at 2 p.m.
Very good.
The library actually figures into the story, so that's why we're having it
Perfect
there.
place
I
to
know,
do it.
so it's
Perfect place to
appropriate.
do it. Josh, thank you so much for being here, being
Thank you.
vulnerable and sharing your story. We appreciate it.